to a digital twin of the world that they can control, that is disconnected from spirit. And
I'm envisioning a world full of love and peace. Thus my decision is to walk with this beast. Through tones, melodies, poems, and beats. But when the time comes, shoot it out in the middle of the streets. In the bright glow of the dawn, I see myself clearly, bringing in a new day. The old way of doing things is done. I don't care what you say. Monsters don't sleep under your bed. They sleep inside your head. And if you haven't done the shadow work, you're left behind is where you stay. I'm envisioning a world full of love and peace. Thus my decision is to walk with this beast. Through tones, melodies, poems, and beats. But when the time comes, shoot it out in the middle of the street. We gotta protect plus homeschool. Our babies is a must. They not just no moms, but also no pops. These Moloch worshiping pedophiles wanna feed our children's spirits to robots. Turn all of us from carbon-based to silicone-based. Should be where the shit show stops. Get back to doing for ourselves. Water system irrigation and grow crops. I'm envisioning a world full of love and peace. Thus my decision is to walk with this beast. Through tones, melodies, poems, and beats. But when the time comes, shoot it out in the middle of the streets. I'm saying I'm not some master teacher. No, am I some pastor or preacher? Was released from prison with this passion to speak of. After doing 25 years in the beast cuffs. Realize they tried to teach us spiritual, mental, physical diet. They tried to feed us the fire of our ancestors resides in each of us. With that, I'm inspired to turn this heat up. I'm envisioning a world full of love and peace. Thus my decision is to war with this beast. Through tones, melodies, poems, and beats. But when the time comes, shoot it out in the middle of the streets.
we're really approaching almost like it's a Frankenstein moment. And they're framing it to us as, innovation, right? We should all be so excited that this is happening. And, I equate it to like the Golem bringing in like these robots. They would like to feed our life force to learn us in every tiny detail, not to empower us, but to actually transform us into a robotic simulation that is under their full control.
Come on. You almost there, bro. You almost there. Survive. Survive. Push us.
I do it die for Chi-Town. Who am I but Chi-Town? You young fool, I'm too fly to just slide down. Blue sky but high ground. My crown slash helmet. So my aircraft stealth spit. Can't be tied down like you seat belted. I look down, I see green like a Celtic. My heat pulverizes, the cheese is melted. The remnants of cash money, I dispelled it. You did the fusions in my eyes, I beheld it. The finger fucked that caused my hand, I dealt it. Felt the vibrate from the gut of my pelvic. You bust all on some ices and veil shit. So radiant, I keep a dark room well lit. Cause you little goofies are well quick. A hot body for remark, you velvet. Body you not for Mars, a female's clip. As a kid, all I did was fight. I did the bit with a knife. I know I can spit my flows to shit. To a fly zone, haters wanna crucify a real man. I still stand with the silver hand, but we're healer man. It's not Cypress Hill, I'm Tuttle Sheep. I'm one tough cookie, I don't follow, I set standards. Catch me, you gon' have to do more to scamper. Need more to scanners, I'm off the radar. I am as you goofies play God. Some worship the Christ, others pray to Allah. Chase a high, drink paper or bruh. You stagnated, while I straight evolve. At a rate, I'm data space AC, y'all. Buster stuck in the case, face off. Active shape, state is a fake, a fraud. Battlestar intergalactic, my mindset, perfect comes from practice, so I rhyme best. I excel like I'm climbing a step. You got a lot to learn. I am adept, you of no concern. I am a threat. My measurement, width, lift, height, and depth. I'm just piloting up, flying a jet, straight to adversary. Martial Chronicles like Ray Bradbury. I'm a thorough guy, goddammit. Symmetric apparel of a fly bandit. Mohawk, aviators, aerodynamics, and it's like I'm an arrow in precise transit. I'm crystal paralyzed what your fans get. Your worlds and pearls what I transmit as a transcript, or I just spit it off the top. It's either shit or get off the pot. This shit's hot.
Wants to get his own crew. Everybody wants to get his own crew rich, and then they want the other little people never get a piece of pie. And go for the cracker, and go for you niggas that think it's all big too. I understand this. That's why you niggas and crackers can't stand me. You niggas just know that I know you can't do nothing if you're broke. Listen to me, young people, and old people too. Mostly black people. I'm talking to you.
Listen to me, old people.
Sure. Y'all really thought that I was done with y'all. Nah. I'm really down on y'all. Fellas up. We're not going back and forth about this or that, whether your word is bond or whack. Here's a big fat, yellow, white, red, brown, black. Mau Mau, Big Mac, but the earth is round or flat. We want our shit back. Enough with the chit chat. I see through the side ops, looking past the sci-fi. Third eye gang cyclops. I don't eat pork, but I will fry cops. For foes, my heart's cold as an icebox. I'm saying die ops from the skybox. Ain't got a scope on you pills. The scope with some rules. Some of our folks are still dumb. Yeah, and blind to the fact that blood, we gon' have this real some warrior spirits inside me. That's where it's real from. The world's a stage, page after page, script is played out. They keep us engaged, placate or rage. This is played out. Rules of a dying society should have been disobeyed out. Forehead and knees off the floor should have been prayed out. The draft is on, COVID's no issue. Could've bloated in tissue. Now it's control who blows the whistle to who holds the pistols. The debacle's about who owes who the fiscal. Disregarding the aboriginal issue. We're not going back and forth about this or that, whether your word is bond or whack. Here's a big fat, yellow, white, red, brown, black. Mau Mau, Big Mac, whether earth is brown or flat. We want our shit back. A fool is known by his speech, yet if I don't speak, I suffer defeat. I'm other than we, a sucker or me. Stand on 2 feet, one turn the other cheek. The wise man known by his silence, mostly disguised compliance. Silence by guidance from conspiring connivance. Other aspirants of violence, tyrants of fire. Trains and trains to hydrogen, I'm sure and defiant. And environments and migrants, I'm hearing the sirens. Ring in my ear, they've got indictments.
It's good, Papa? It's good, right? They are, at least in Omac. What's going on, brother? What's happening? Gone. Good luck. Good video, brother. Yeah, read on. Drill music for real. My soul ain't gon' hold that. We're foolish with no deal. Ain't playing with none of them. It's personal, know what the business is. Big mom says come full circle, so vacate your premises. We're not going back and forth about this or that. Whether your word is bond or whack. It's a big thing. Yellow, white, red, brown, black. Mau Mau, or Big Bang. Whether earth is brown or black. We want our shit back. We're not going back and forth. Well, you ate that quick, man. Whether your word is bond or whack. It's a big thing. Yellow, white, red, brown, black. Mau Mau, Big Bang. Whether earth is brown or black. We want our shit back. That's funny. I don't know why I'm sitting with these glasses on. It's like coffee, huh? Make you want to drink.
Shine symbols for the conscious mind, y'all. And with that on the temple, draw. I had a vision the past night, yeah, a circulus round, created successful reality from a virtual now. How? Stand on my square cause they usurp your power. Them same little sneaky breezes that'll hurt you.
Oh yeah, that was good. You got one out.
crank like this and licking yourself. Oh yeah, you good. Yeah. I just thought you had it up there that time because you ain't jumped out. I'm not going out right now, man. In a little bit. I'm not reading, huh?
490-degree angles guarded by angel of shiny ED angels. Thank you, and I of course am the chief triangle. If I die before I wake, well at least I'm flying plain view. I am my circle, how I govern four corners. Wise as a serpent for certain among.
Hey, what's up, Sonelli?
Stay out of place in the space, stay
brothers,
strong.
what's going on? Sisters, y'all, come on in.
How we call wind blowing, I spit flows, dope man, fly in the shell like shower, Hampton kept slow. Stay high, years later, he's just saying that we just gain density. Game I said,
hey, what's going on, y'all? I'm going to get started because, yeah, the cold, I forgot I had the AC on, right? And I was watching the rest of that Sean Ryan, man. But then I said, let me take a breather because I snapped out of it. And then when I came back downstairs, a notification popped up and it was ganja. So I said, let me watch that. And that was a good one, G. Delusions, that was a good one, bro. And I wanted to share some with y'all. I forgot to mention it. And a lot of y'all know, I remember I took a day or two off, or kind of, from going live. But I also know that they have some more rules. And it's not like there's some goofy government, who runs the platform. But I want to tell you, reason why some people, girlfriend who cheated ended up in the ER after trying. Oh, yeah. Anyway, that's just nasty. I can't believe they put it on here. So I wanted to show you all something on here because they did an update not too long ago, right? And I wasn't really getting a lot of notifications. And so I remember chatting with this one young chap, one lad, right? And he was telling me to do this and another. And I was like, man, I ain't doing all that goofy stuff. And I says, you know what? Something's not right. But we know there's still something not right because your views that you get when you're live, you should see when it uploads. It should be there. So this is some other perversion. Now, I don't know how to fix it. Even they're like, I'm like, it's obvious what's going on based upon what you talk about. Somebody asked me, do I have something against Jews? Of course not. I have something against the dynamic of its creation and the lie of it. Its existence and how it's created so much dividends of division that most people don't know the truth. It's meaningless. Bottom line, it's used as a weapon, a tool, a vice. Give the have-nots something. Make those who are something look like they have not. Well, anyway, it's across the board. All right. And that's just the game they play. Remember I said warlike? When you want to get into the Bible text and all that stuff. And the fact that I look at Arabs like really they don't know what they're talking about, because if they knew the truth, then we wouldn't have had one individual in the 1970s talking about you left white and come back black. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. You left black and came out white, whatever, by the crayon colors. Well, anyway, for those, if you get notifications, cool. But share this with those who may not be getting notifications. I just want to put this up here before I read. So on your platform, right? You see here, the one that has your little face or whatever you chose as your profile? Well, you tap that, right? So it takes you to your page, right? Why am I seeing that? Yeah. So Kurt Cobain, because I believe they murdered him. Anyway, so you go up here and you see this, right? Well, over in this corner where you have this, see this little wheel right there? You know what it's called, right? Okay, that's all I'm at. You tap on that. Now, when you come in here, you go straight on down to notifications. Now, this one looks a little different from my phone and my laptop. Those are pretty much the third or fourth one, maybe fifth. You tap on notifications, okay? So when you tap on that, you get all these over here. So I don't need scheduled digest. I looked at it. I could use it, but we're not going to do that. So what happened was I was not seeing anybody I had subscribed to because it was off. So what I did was I went and I turned it on. Now I'm getting everybody's notifications. I didn't know I subscribed to so many animal channels, but that's what you need to do if you're not getting a notification, because a year ago it was removed. It didn't matter if you hit subscribe. It didn't matter if you hit notification. You have to literally go in to your general setting, your settings wheel, and you have to go down to notifications and make sure your subscription button is on, as well as your recommended videos or recommended ways to create and activity on the channel. Now you can remove recommended videos. You don't necessarily have to have that. But in case you want to have more than one. You want to have a plethora of certain info. You could dispute which one you don't want to have and which one you want to watch. You go ahead and you just not watch them or nor subscribe, and it helps other people's channels as well. So I want to hit that. Okay, mine was off, and so I've been getting notifications out the yam that I had to turn it off. That if I go to YouTube, I'll see the notifications, and the notification will. I'll say, okay, well, look, I want to look at this today, or I want to see that. It's not about who's going to be top or not. Some people pay for that, just like some people pay for subscribers or subscriptions. All right, so I just wanted to let you know. Again, I'm gonna do it one more time. You go into your YouTube page, right? You go down where you see your profile picture. Mine is the balance, right? You tap on it. See, I'm getting notifications out the yam. Then you go over to your settings wheel. You hit your settings wheel, right? All right. Then you go all the way down, and on some of y'all's iPhones, whatever, you might be the fourth or fifth one down. Mine just happens to be right down here, and you tap on notifications, and bang. You go up here, and you make sure this one is on, because when the reset happened, it turns it off. For whatever reason, I don't know. Just had to be explained, okay? I just wanted to share that. You know, this generation, they're so sensitive, and the funny thing is, these platforms play to it. Do you know what I'm talking about? The way we talk, the vernacular we use, the way they sell things. Now, you must remember that I actually downloaded like several videos showing that it still has a violent nature and it still has subliminal messages, to which is absurd. But they want to be able to put ads up here, and they want to control how you speak about certain things or individuals. This is the benign situation of frolicking liberal stupidity and conservative. So I said, I've been writing and working on the logistics of doing a video to upload to call them on their shenanigans, because I literally watched 5 ads, and I was like, oh, this is the game they're playing. Okay. And grateful to, I think it was Ganja or somebody told me, yeah, they was one of the ads they had put up on one of my videos. I asked people to watch my ads. Please watch it through and through. You ain't got to listen to it, but let it play. Some of you might see something you might want to watch. And he says, yeah, they're talking about, at that time, the war, the Ukraine. I was like, man, I ain't, or Israel, whatever. I'm not in support of none of that crap. And if these fools knew that, they would know better. But see, they were pushing war propaganda. You get where I'm coming from? But they want to control what you say. That's like Curamio talking about the Chazars. You can't put a gold dollar sign. Well, you can do what you want. It's your platform, but you can't put a gold dollar sign because you're a coward and a punk and you're effeminate. That shows you for weak individuals that's behind the costumes and the camera, or sitting in the back manipulating the wedges and numbers. This is what they do. And then because you're telling on them, you're not really telling on them. You're showing them for what they want everybody to ignore. You know, that shows they're straight up punks. And it was good when Curamio did that little troll, video. I was like, yeah, man, bust him. So I'm working on a video, and they'll probably be cowardice, because if I tell you, it's one I'm writing and working on. This is if I upload it here, and I had them sticking their head like a damn ostrich in the dirt. Embarrassing. And I don't have to sit up and read the protocols of the Goys of Zion. That would be the Boule and the sellouts. Don't say raccoons, because my father in Chickasaw Nation is of the raccoon clan, which has nothing to do with what you think. It ain't people running around with little tobacco skirts and feathers and bull crap. All right, it's like what you see today as far as legions and battalions and stuff like that. That's what it has to do with our situational awareness, their purpose, and where they're at in the land, what's related to where the most raccoons are. If I was to ask y'all to research where the most raccoons found. Now, we know it's a perversion today. We know a lot of lands have been occupied and changed up. You know what I'm saying? And the diversity is not what it used to be as far as peaceful. But if you were to look, then you would see the pattern on my father's side. My great-great-great-grandmother, Lillian James Henry Wooten, who walked the trail of death and murder for redemption to go all the way over to Oklahoma to another one of our grand cities that at the time they believed was still standing, and by this fake government, they were telling them you can go over to your city over there. We've occupied these. The narrative is beyond the scope of what y'all can. That's why I don't debate Pan-African fries and goofies who get all upset because somebody's talking about their relations or whatever. You know, when you know something different, you really know something different. All right. Indigo Turtles, what's up? Kiro Mio, what's up, beloved? What's happening? Yeah, it's in and out, man. Indigo Turtles, what's going on? Alicia and Cooper, I get you, right? Scott, all right, beloved Joy. It'll be peace one day, brother. All right. So anyway, I appreciate y'all. So let's go ahead and get into. We're gonna tap into facts and facts. You know, we're dealing with Goldstein, the letter. Oh man, I just lost my place. What's marked? It's highlighted. It's cold. It got so cold in here, man. My nose started running. You know, I like the cold. You know what I'm saying? But so I get a little slight headache. Not a headache, but a headache. But anyway, so this is Facts and Facts by Benjamin H. Friedman. And this is a special delivery to David Goldstein, LLD. So we're going to finish reading that. And I'm drinking my tea and getting my green juices. I'm going to make a moringa with my sea moss that I showed y'all how to make sea moss. Remember? I showed y'all how to boil up a certain amount to put in a mason jar. And I mix that with moringa. So I'm going to use that. And I'm going to mix that with some fruit. And that's going to be my fruit for this. Because usually I have watermelon. You can have watermelon all day. It's a superfood. That's why I'm advising any of you, if you got some heirloom watermelon seeds, you can grow them indoors, you know. Okay? But damn it, you should have germinated them already and had them in the ground. I don't care where you live at, or in a box you built that you can carry in and out to grow you at least 2 or 3. And you could do that with 3 or 4 Tupper, you know, which I prefer not the plastic boxes called the PFASs, but you could do it with an end basin and a wood inlay or a wood end basin. You could do it like that, and you can use some good friggin' watermelon with some aloe plant that you blend up with some banana peels, excuse me, and some eggshells, and put it with some organic topsoil. If you don't know how to get some good stuff with some worms, and you don't mind a couple of little mites and bugs, which are beneficial and helpful, all right? And grow you some freaking watermelon. And get you growing you some greens, man. All right? Are you doing it? No, I'm planning to get up out of here. How would it look like me starting to grow a whole bunch of crap in here if I don't plan on being here? Yeah? But I plan on doing a whole lot of that. And stop washing your ass in that chlorine and all. Let me tell you something. If your kids go swimming in a chlorine pool, put some coconut oil on them, some olive oil, one-time pressed cold olive oil. Stop buying these things with Bertolli and this with 7 different places they come from because the goofy-ass mafia is putting seed oils in it, and they're still doing it. All right? So go ahead and get you some coconut oil or get you some cold press, or you can do it. You can get some olive oils yourself, some olives yourself, and they're hard as rock. And soak them in brine for, I forget how long it takes, but you can look it up. And soak them in Himalayan salt water or, distilled water brine and get them softened up and then press them or press them when they're hard. You know what I'm saying? Was it, you boil it? I forget how. You got to Google how to do it. And press your own olive oil. Okay? All right. So anyway, let's go ahead and read this. And we're going to be kind of quick on this one. Excuse me. I didn't even know the AC was on, man. We had some wind today, and it was like it was going to rain. I'm like, what am I doing with the AC on? All right, let's go ahead and get into it. It's going to read a few of the chapters, and then we'll go right on over to Margaret Sanger's Not 100 Years of Lynching. I already beat that up. And I showed y'all with a chart showing you a lot of people. I didn't even show the Spanish people that were lynched. I just showed you the pale skins and the Negroes because it seems to be in the beginning, it was mostly light skins. That's because they didn't want to trade. They didn't want to become traitorous to us. And they had to get rid of them. And in doing so, they also got rid of those brothers who was marginalized, who would fight alongside. All right. So this poses, this poses a serious problem today for the Christian clergy. And this individual, Mr. Friedman, was a Zionist. He was part of establishing and creating it. And, you know what I'm saying? So he's telling some truths, but he's holding on to Christianity. My thing is not with Christianity, but I don't see my God up in some sky. I see my God within me. That's why they have to change, and these perversions that came to our soil up, create all these poisons. That how were they able to do it? Because we're too busy fighting to pay attention and dying. But we were never defeated. Defeated now because of sellout niggas. So let's get into it. I want to clarify that. So this poses a serious problem today for the Christian clergy. They can extricate themselves from their present predicament, not only be resorting to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. That is the only formula by which the Christian clergy can recapture the lost confidence of Christians. As effective spiritual leaders, they cannot function without this lost confidence. They should make that their first order of business. They should make that the first order of business. It's no apostrophe. Anyway, my dear Dr. Goldstein, you are a theologian of high rank and a historian of note. Of necessity, you also should agree with other outstanding authorities on the subject of whether Jesus was a Jew. Did anybody start watching that video I put up there with that individual being interviewed? Anyway, these leading authorities agree today that there is no foundation in fact for the implications, inferences, and the innuendos resulting from the incorrect belief that Jesus was a Jew. Incontestable historic facts and an abundance of other proofs established beyond the possibility of any doubt the incredibility of the assertion, so often heard today that Jesus was a Jew. Did y'all hear that? Did you grasp what was just said? Without any fear of contradiction based upon fact, the most competent and best qualified authorities all agree today that Jesus Christ was not a so-called or self-styled Jew. I told you, Jew. All that shit is made up. Now, if you say Judean, Atlantean, and go beyond that, because there are narratives that want to paint that go beyond that. It's hard to find them in any book. But because you have to equip yourself to dig deep within inside yourself to ascertain how they broke things up, I think that's why it's important to read Flatlanders and the books that I purchased that go right along with it, in accordance, like a Apocrypha. But most people have a hard time with this because they can't accept what they've been depravely initiated into. Yes, my beloved Yehuda Citadeli, you have been indoctrinated. That way, every time you turn the road, the block, you're always going to come back to something that's going to make you capitulate and keep you stuck in a place that is really not a safe place. Give you a false perception of a rising above the occasion, when we know that a rise is one thing, but to be raised is another. Okay? And it's going to be a turmoil of battle, and no freedom at all. So what am I doing? I'm reading this stuff to allow you to ascertain another platform. It doesn't mean more nonsense. You're already in all the nonsense. Didn't I do that with the Protocols of the Goys of Zionism and Arthur Kessler and a couple other books that expatiate on that? Behold the Pale Horse. Do we still have to go and read Psalms, and we have to get into Galatians, and we have to go to, or do we have to pull out Zechariah and Jebediah? Do we have to start looking at other things? When you want to say Judean, Atlantean, do you want to go beyond that? When it became a religious consort that started painting a different picture that showed the destruction. When I was talking about the wars and the fact that it hasn't stopped since they became the fact and the Talmud, which I told y'all to purchase. It talks about taking little baby girls and making other babies, and the reversal of how we are and who we are, something we never did as a righteous people, the people of light. Now all of a sudden we're partaking in that nonsense. When I say backwards, reverse, upside down, inverted, some things can be dismissed in totality. So let's go ahead and finish reading some more of this. Okay? Without any without any fear of contradiction based upon fact, the most competent and best qualified authorities all agree today that Jesus Christ was not a so-called or self-styled Jew. They do confirm that during his lifetime, Yeshua or Jesus was known as a Judean. By his contemporaries and not as a Jew. And that Jesus referred to himself as a Judean and not as a Jew. During his lifetime here on earth, Yeshua was referred to by contemporary historians as a Judean and not as a Jew. Contemporary theologians of Jesus, whose competence to pass upon the subject cannot challenge by anyone today, also referred to Jesus during his lifetime here on earth as a Judean and not as a Jew. I just want to bring that little spark of light to you guys. That's what I enjoy doing. And trust me, I know. I had some little wood talking about, I said, shut up. And Betsy Ross, that's a nigger's name. Go pull up all the Betsy Rosses in the world. Not because people wanted to borrow the name like they borrow all of our identity, but go and look back and go and really pay attention to the real. And then you see her become Aunt Jemima and a few other things over the decades of creating a false white superiority and stuff, just like they did with our cities of Tartaria or Atrea, which is hard for most of y'all to pronounce because it's not a Spanish rolling R and you just don't know how to speak the language, which is not just the fact that, which I ask y'all, don't study the angelic language, which is a perversion of these bastards attempting to decipher things that they don't have no idea about, but also it's Coptic narratives. Be careful, because there are people that actually are reared from the youth, younglings, who get a little taste of the real thing to further go on and decipher languages that most of our people have no idea. It's in the languages, but have no idea. And it's being used as a form of spell. That's the reason why I talked about Rockefeller, Jekyll Island, the mound, the one he had built. Why? Are y'all aware that LGBTQ stuff all stems, the gay stuff stems from Florida when he migrated there after the murders from New York all the way over to California, before it went to California, which left from Italy? When y'all talk about the Bohemian and all that stuff, it's funny how a certain singer who had girlfriend relationships became a singer, and died of AIDS, was talking about Bohemian, Rhapsody. But nobody really wants to look into the particulars and be able to lay out, because I told you the world you live in is a puzzle. And most people don't know it, yet people are very well putting things together and starting to see this. Okay? The Negro Project. Margaret Sanger's 5 Ds for the Black so-called America. Why has so much focus been put on Black America from everywhere? But yet all the women all over the world are starting to want to be with the so-called Black American. Yeah. It's actually some truth to it. And that's not ego. There's something there that is deeper than most. And Black, just to help y'all out, doesn't mean everybody that looks like an African. Just to let you know. It's very perverse in its nature. Get some more. Headache feels a little better. Excuse me. All right, let's pick up where we left off the other day. The sudden antagonism in Germany against the Jews and a vitriolic hatred of them, the Sanger continued, is spreading underground here and is far more dangerous than the aggressive policy of the Japanese in Manchuria. They also point out that her books were among those tossed into the fire at the book burnings all over Germany, and a disgusting orgy of hatred that also consumed the works of Sigmund Freud. Well, we know Sigmund Freud to be a piece of crap. Thomas Mann, same thing. And Albert Einstein, the liar of lies. A mulatto, if you want to use that term. We know that's not what it means, but, In the wake of Hitler's ascension to the chancellorship of January, it says accession, which it should say ascension, okay? Which it means one and the same. To the chancellorship on January 30th, 1933. 33. Don't you people with the number thing start. Remember that this was the same woman who lectured the Ku Klux Klan's Ladies Auxiliary in Silver Lake 7 years earlier. And bear in mind as well that Jews held a very high position on the Klan's hit list. That's funny when they're the ones that created it. So, was Margaret Sanger a Nazi? Because you got to remember, they're all converts, right? To a religion that never existed. Did she subscribe to the party's philosophy and its attendants' ideology? Did her actions and association in this country comport with her denunciations of Hitler regime and the unspeakable atrocities it committed against so many of its own citizens, while at the same time acting in the name of the German people? Well, think about Rockefeller supporting and funding. There are questions that have rarely, if ever, been asked. Questions that cry out for answers from Sanger's supporters and apologists. As the saying goes, one can judge a person by the company they keep. So let us now do exactly that. Now, in this book, you're not going to see what I already showed you. The fact that the German war was being supported and funded by the so-called Jewish, the Zionists. They were called something before all that. But anyway, okay? And that's why I use the term Gujar, because it's basically claiming to be Hindu or an Arab, by a different narrative, okay? Because you got to remember, when they were taken in from being sand devils or cannibals and everything and robbing and murdering, all right, they were taken in and educated, and that's where the theosophy and theosophical societies arrived from. Remember that now. Don't forget that. It's important, okay? And the world's magic, or the things that cause us to fall or start the falling when we had Tartary, were the things that we knew we were succumb to. And many of our people had to go into a deep sleep. And that was taken advantage of. Ergo, you have, am I my brother's keeper? To which most of them would tell you no and call you Goyim. And others, because they have been philosophically nurtured in the lie of this race baiting nonsense and racism and this cultural identity of ethnicities and everything that's fraudulent, other than being brothers, sisters, cousins, and so and good stewards to one another. Ergo, you have the Jew, the one that creates the problems or supports the Zionists or the Gujars narrative in the world you live in that is destructive. And whenever you get close to figuring them out, they got to destroy everything. But now everybody all over is waking up. Everywhere. So let us examine the company that Margaret Sanger kept, the associations and alliances she maintained, and judge for ourselves the validity of her supporters' claims and assertions. While it is true that Sanger was never a member of the Nazi Party or of its American offshoot, it cannot be denied or wished away that she was in sympathy with many of its goals regarding eugenics. It has already been established quite clearly that the American eugenics movement and its German counterparts each had the same objective. Hitler already made the statement, this is a fact. They are only following what they were doing over here. They weren't doing nothing of the sort, and there was nothing of the same. Excuse me. Because I've read enough to know this. Had the same objective. Each sought to improve or purify its restrictive gene pool through the use of scientific means. In the United States, this was carried out in various ways, such as sterilization, either voluntarily or coercively. Remember the year all that started with Margaret Sanger, there was no war going on. The Jews were still controlling Germany, causing people to be broke, people starving and dying in the streets and everything else. Hitler came along and all that was gone. So what did they do? They went to the outskirts, like Poland and all these different places. Okay. So anyway, various ways such as sterilization, either voluntarily or coercively. It means being coerced into it by the fake black church and all the other things. That's why I read to you who created the AME, or the so-called fake African-American church, which it was not called. They sure know I have. They sure have a way of changing history to fit their narrative. And you would think people paid attention, or the Episcopal, and all the other fake narratives that came along the way. Anti mis mis anti. I don't. And I'm way above a 7th and 10th grade level of reading it. Anyway, the statutes of this anti-miscegenation, I can't get the word out, and I know it. Anyway, immigration laws limiting the number of people coming into this country from a particular part of the world, and so on and so forth. I don't know, this segregation or segmentation? It's some weird word, and I don't like the meaning behind it. It's stupid. I looked it up, and I don't like it. Germany's approach to racial hygiene, as it was called, took on a far darker tone, especially after Hitler's accession to the chancellorship. His rise to power took the German eugenics movement, which had originated in the late 1800s, in a wholly new and different direction. You heard that, right? His role as the leader of the Feldbier Hall Pushed or Coup on November 9th, 1923, put him in Landsberg prison from 1924 to 25, 1 year, a time during which he had ample opportunity to entertain visitors, steep his fellow inmates in Nazi doctrine, and just as importantly, to read and read he did, voraciously. And we're gonna read the next part later, because I want to mention something, and I know I showed and many people noticed, it's funny that Germany had a whole lot of Africa Corps, Hindus, Chinese that fought with Germany. Yes. They had even people from here who were over there before, hence the Renaissance period, who stayed and fought in the Blitzkriegs, which they always hide all those pictures. But they're still there, because you will see in the Nazi training camps and the kids' Nazi regime, you would see melanated people with curly afros, with swastikas, the bands going in the streets. But when the Jews write the narrative of World War II, the purpose of America, not America, but the Jews controlling this fake government to hijack our land and government, all right, after murdering our king, Lincoln, that's what I said, all right, wanted to exterminate them, just like the Boxer Rebellion and everything else. Well, I got several books on the Boxer Rebellion with ornate pictures showing a light and a dark, so-called Chinese, the actual POG and their offspring. Just like Cathay, which was the original place before it became China. Same thing with Japan. The Ano people, the people who I visited and sat with and learned some things, and then saw some real pictures. And I was like, damn, y'all got bigger frogs. Man, y'all look like Fijians. And, you know, the people described on so-called Easter Island, which is a debacle in the term and a lie. All right? And most people have a hard time ascertaining these things. It's important to know these things, so you can change the narrative. But most people don't want to change the narrative because they're comfortable in the lie. And ergo, why you give power. When I did that thing on World War III, I was only sharing information for you to go and see for yourself. That's all I was doing. And then I shared what I shared this AM to better, you know, have you look at things in a different light. Because they want you to look in the light, but be in the darkness. You cannot allow yourself to do that. Okay? Exposing the Expositions, 1851, 1950. This is Howdy McAllister's 2021. I hope he's writing another one. I got to go and look. All right? He was sent him a message. But Howdy McAllister's 2021 revision was 2019. Go ahead and buy the book. Read it. What the heck? Just go ahead and read it. It's not that bad. I actually went over it again last night when I fell asleep so early. This is the Court of Honors in Chicago. Okay. Well, you can call it whatever you want. Okay. All right. So let's get back into this. This is a good read. This is one of those books I can read over and over and over. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. So I showed you yesterday, and that's what we speak about Terrence Howard, the fact that I'm an inventor, and most inventors, you know, this we like this because we get in frequencies and all the other different things of channeling. Channeling's real. You do it every day unknowingly. Whenever you feel a certain way, your emotions are, when you say, I am tired of this. How many times you said, I'm tired of it, and you took the measures and you changed it? Don't get, I'm tired of it, and go off into the world they created, which is violence. That's not the answer. All right? And I was showing you, and y'all know what that's called, right? Okay? That's on most of the so-called cathedrals and everything else, which is a blatant lie, what they call it. They dismiss this truth, and y'all can get into it as far as what its purpose was and how it refocused light and energy, your energy out and the outside energy in for healing with certain frequencies from 6,177,468 or 640, whatever the number was, organs that could play that many frequencies. And the persons who could play that thing, they were said to be giants who would play those things, and they would heal you in a matter of moments, if not a day, from all kind of things. Missing limbs, collapsed wounds in the head, lost eye regrowing, teeth regrowing, the things that I'm aware of, y'all. Let's get into it. I didn't mark this because I know we're going to. Anyway, you can get into the Pythagoras and all that other stuff when you want to, or the Goths or whatever. Visigoths, those are people, but it's more than that based on Tartary, for those who don't know, and you might really like what you find. But when you get into the vibrational generators and the amplifiers and all that, that resonates through those energy centers and stuff like that. That's the reason why I get into the Pythagoras or the circles and all those different things. And that's why I find this book very, very, in a positive way, to be entertained, to be entered, to be attained, and to be solid in the sacrament. Real shit. To add a bit of modern science to the discussion, I present the terms magnetron, cathode, and resonance. A cavity magnetron is a high-powered vacuum tube that generates microwaves using the interaction of a stream of electrons with a magnetic field while moving past a series of open metal cavities, as in copper and gold, even polonium and cadmium and all others. All right, cavity resonators and electrons, as I told you, under the buildings, they used to have heat and cold thermals to create the conditions where they bounce during the so-called cold or heat summer months, because there was a period of time there was no such thing as winter, not too long ago. But anyway, where the electrons would pass by the cavities and cause radio waves to oscillate, okay, within, similar to the way a whistle produces a tone when excited by an airstream blown past its opening, which is convection, right? Where you have this vector, and you get that. Well, I can't whistle with my. Well, you know what I'm saying. I can whistle, but this is not where I'm at right now. Anyway, excuse me. Damn. Whistle produces a tone when excited by an airstream, blown past its opening, like violin wind. So what does that mean? It means that the way the device is constructed will create and amplify a microwave frequency. Are you not dealing with that now? EMF, right? And it's not in the good sense, because you know that everything's been put at 440, 808, 527 or 571 or whatever, And all these things you're being played with. And then everything that's spraying in the heavy metals, which I didn't speak about yesterday, this morning, which I wanted to allude. Imagine a hydrogen or thermonuclear war going off with these certain metals that would increase the potential of that very bad frequency that is destructive. Could you imagine the shock wave being increased 10 to 100-fold? At any time, they could set the stuff off, and this would be more violent than the weapon itself. Hypothetically. Based on my opinion of knowing and not knowing. Anyway, so it would increase it. An early form of the magnetron was invented in 1920. No, it's older than that. And another by General Electric in 1920. We know that they were hijacking and stealing our stuff. But it was not until the 1940s when German, Russian, and British researchers used these ideas to improve radar technology. Now, the magnetron works. What was the star for it all about? Excuse me. Excuse me. Right? Okay. And if we created and if we invented in the 1817 and 1600s the spark plug, you mean to tell me that we didn't know anything about the magnetron? The magnetron? How about the spherical brass balls with real liquid mercury from Earth that wasn't toxic or poisonous? How about the fact when a volcano explodes, you should see the electric reaching up to the esprit above? Aurora Borealis. Come on, y'all. Anyway, an early form of the magnetron was invented in 1910 and another by General Electric in 1920. Both lies. But it was not until the 1940s when German, Russian, and British researchers used these ideas to improve radar technology. The magnetron works with resonance, and any device that shows such properties is known as a resonator. In fact, y'all remember the movie Dune? Boom, boom, bumpers, resonating frequency, attracts the worm, that protects the spice. All right. To improve radar technology, the magnetron works with resonance, and any device that shows such properties is known as a resonator. In fact, many of the images of one, in parentheses, which look like the bullet holes of a revolver when looked at straight on, and also resemble to me the layout of the Pantheon. In Rome, musical instruments use acoustic resonators that produce sound waves of specific tones, while quartz crystals used in electric devices such as radio transmitters and quartz watches will produce oscillations of very precise frequencies. Precise. Some musical instruments generate the sound directly, such as the wooden bars in a xylophone, the head of a drum, and strings in a string instrument, or the pipes in an organ. Some modify the sound by enhancing particular frequencies, such as the sound box of a guitar or violin. I worked at the Hutchinsons. Y'all know the Hutchinsons in Montclair, New Jersey, used to make for the all the different, harmonic, Philharmonic Orchestra and all those places in Germany, all that. They used to make some of the best cellos and bass and violins and even guitars from famous people. I used to work with them when I lived right next door to them on 118 Exis Ave. I lived right next door to them. I used to go over there every day after school. If I wasn't running track, going to karate or whatever. And I used to work with them for a few summers, taking care of the atrium and their first floor bathroom that was like walking into a dam. It was like a garden with the biggest, oldest turtles. Yes, you can look them up. The Hutchinson's instruments, string instruments. My grandmother made sure I went over because I was always still in there wild blackberries and strawberries. And when we had our own, but I was always over there because they're the landman where they, and their garage was big. They lived in this big thing where Herman Munster's house. So I worked in there for about 4 summers, learning how to soak wood and what kind of wood, teak, mahogany, this, that, and actually how to get the wire and make the stuff for the everything. I used to be in this youngest one with all these old heads. Nobody messed with me and fiddled me. They knew my story. And my grandmother and my family were highly respected. And it was a magnificent thing. Anyhow, some modify the sound by enhancing particular frequencies, such as the sound box of a guitar or violin. Many 5-string banjos, not from Africa, never, have removable resonators, so players can use the instrument with a resonator in bluegrass style, and bluegrass was out before it became this Jesus Christ and all this, they and what they do? You remember that little Tom and Jerry, his cousin or his uncle, whatever. Put it, anyway. All without it in folk music style. Okay, now I'm gonna stop it right there because I think that's more than enough information to give you a little tea about the world we live in, and the fact that them by leaving this information, and for those who would go this far doing the fake demic to take time to be able to find this kind of stuff is magnificent. And the fact that Tartary existed, it's the word we'll use. And that it wasn't somewhere just in Russia because where the Jews was in the Caucasus, and they want to paint that as the only place and dismiss America, which is the true old world. The true old world. By the narrative. Even some Africans started to realize that maybe we all did originate from over here. Well, they're starting to speak this is the awakening that can't be stopped. There's no way. And they're starting to realize, okay, well, we're all related. Then what? I said, well, then stop being stupid with your goofy ass leaders who are plaguing you motherfuckers too because they're greedy. And it's not always about money. It's because they made a deal. When they say they conspire against you, you think it's somebody outside? Shit. Okay. Then people aren't really paying attention. In order to have a conspiracy, you have to have many different folds, many hands in play. So why wouldn't they have a plethora of instruments and individuals? Bad tones, of course. So you think that Jesse Jackson conspired against you? Al Sharpton for a position in place? Am I correct or am I wrong? You think not? I mean, Jay went to Nightwolf, sat down with Mr. Know-It-All himself, elegant speaker, Farrakhan. You think he didn't conspire against you? He conspired against Malcolm. And not in ignorance either. And many others you know nothing about. So anyway, let's go and behold the pale horse. I'm going to show you the brother they murdered, William Cooper. All right. Is he alive or dead? He might be back here again. He might be some young thing. I don't know. He might have been snatched up and be part of a program. I don't know. Huh. Okay. So anyway, let's get in here. And this is the story of Jonathan May. Okay. I'm going to let you outside. The other cats are outside. That's why you're looking crazy. Don't start that shit either. Pick you up and throw you upstairs and then lock you in the room up there for a moment so you calm down. I don't know. I think that boy cat is skeeting all around the place and he smells that and he just gets. I'm like, ain't nobody out here. Then I remember, and some of you have cats. You know, the first time I lived with a cat was on the res. And then I saved this one. And I didn't know that certain scents from other animals, depending on certain periods of time, maybe someone can help me, cat whisperer, whatever, that cats do that instinctively. I was like, whoa. Because he was like, to people was nice. And then he would rub against them. I'm like, what? And he would look at a place where there ain't nothing that. And then he'd go up and he'd turn around and you see his tail do that. You know, I'm saying, boy, you better not be skeeting up and on. Because you skeet up in here, boy, your ass going to be out there for good. For good. Excuse my language. We want to get through this. It's about 6 more pages, about 5.5 more pages. So we can get to the documentation of the U.S. Army Intelligence connection with the Satanic Church. That is going to be a fabulous friggin' read. I went ahead last night. I went through about 4 books, was reading them, and that's why I passed out. I think, I don't know, it was early when y'all saw me. Yeah. When I think I did a little, uploaded a video. So after that, I was out, y'all. My head was hurting a little bit from all the sun. So we want to get through this. All right. Now, the formula determined upon the directorate body of trustees was as follows. Now, you have these asset-based 100s that go all the way from paper liability maximum aggregates of at 25 equals AAA and AAA, AD, it goes on and on. So that's about 4 of them. So like I said, it's from AAA all the way down to D. It's not no ABC. No, what is that bit? Paper liability maximum, the worth, which it is not worth how it's played out. Because most of y'all never knew that the dollar was not worth a dollar. Are y'all aware of that? Okay. After what Nixon did, oh man, even though in 1913, 33 and all that with the Federal Reserve, this, that, and other, everything was still, because you got to remember Tulsa, Oklahoma and all our banks, whether in Virginia, the Carolinas, Florida, Louisiana, all the way to Oklahoma, Texas, which Louisiana was all of Texas. There was no Mexico. Stop that shit. I'm so tired of that nonsense. And I told y'all California wasn't called Mexico. It was Carolina. It was actually Carolina. And you had North and South Kakalaki. I'm tired of this world so conflicted and confused with all this made up stuff that keeps popping out everywhere. And there's a benefit of having your great uncles in your life and your great grandmother. And if you don't believe me, do the research and you'll be surprised at what you pull up. Backwards, reverse, upside down, inverted. Okay. So anyway, so for the telling time, right? We can go from pages 11 to 26. We can go back. We're going to do that. The private rating of our associated and affiliate business entities began at the beginning of 1986. I was my 2nd year in the Navy. Our own group's paper was, and I was still breakdancing. Our own group's paper was mandated by group policy as determined by the governing chapter never to exceed an exposure factor of 25% of the group's in-house assets. For example, the assets owned by the Sodalites, the Sodalitas Group, Trust Group, even primary members, and was accordingly qualified by our International Finance Council, LTD, as a private placement AAA rated promissory note. Promissory note. Let me see if I got a lot of money up on the table upstairs and in my drawer. I don't like carrying this shit around on me anyway. I don't mind using the damn cards. All right, I got one folded up in here. All right, so let me show you this. Let me show you. You already know. It's not like you don't know. All right. I owe fucking you. I promise. And you know who's supposed to play it? Not you. The fucking banks and this fake ass government. That's all I'll say to that. You're not in debt. So, in 1984, when I said an oath different from everybody else, one portion of our gold reserve was exchanged in an asset. One portion of our gold reserve was exchanged in an asset barter exchange agreement with the sole surviving owner of over 517,000 acres of real property. I guess you would say colloidal, right? Title, surface and mineral, which is bullshit. Surface and mineral. Now, the group's acquisition of such property was made unseverable. Unseverable. That means it couldn't be removed from, which is a lie, under the provisions of Article 1, Section 10, Clause I of the U.S. Constitution. How can they use the Constitution? Because they're fraudulent people and subjugate you against it with people born on your own soil who are too stupid and costume to know better. After such acquisition, the net worth of the Sodalites Trust Group by and through said 7 primary grade 1 member trust was estimated as follows. Note, some further 11 sections of the same gold-bearing property was being disputed at the time and therefore not counted because it didn't belong to them yet. They had to kill the niggas off to have it. Although a defendable title thereto was and is held, meaning it will be. It's just like the Belfort Agreement made before the war, to which they thrusted so-called America, which they want to call U.S. now, into it, that had no legal legitimacy because Germany had won the war. They wanted peace. Everybody keep what you got. They wasn't trying to take Poland and none of that. It's these fake-ass Jews, but they had to get things jumping. And you know how they got more brothers into the war? By murdering the war for Lebanon. You think I don't know what I'm talking about? If these people walking around calling themselves police officers, marshals, and sheriffs were right, they start locking these motherfucking people up. But that shows you who's part of what. I'm not here to change this shit. I'm just saying, I haven't heard nobody say that. They're not too smart. 9 sections, square miles, times 640 acres, times 4,840 square yards per acre, times 53 yards, the 160-foot depth equals 1,477,555,200 cubic yards. 2. 1,477,555,200 cubic yards times a half ounce equals 738,777,600 ounces of gold in the 9 square miles. That's why we said that the 160-foot depth. All right. 3. 738,777,600 ounces minus 6 million assigned in exchange for the 517,000 acres equals 732,777,600 ounces of gold. So we're not a rich people. Why do you think it's a trust on every goddamn body? And it doesn't mean shit. It means you're all supposed to have an equal form of living. But if that were the case, then you would have no Rockefellers and Rothschilds, Vanderbilts and Bushes and so on, and Aggravids, black and gray popes and all this other bullshit. You wouldn't have missing children and missing women and sick people and murdering and drugs. Our music fucked over, 440 hertz and 808 and 520, you know the whole bit. 4. 732,777,600 at minus 250 per ounce, $250 to be exact, equals 183. Oh shit. Goddamn. 183,194,400,517,000 acres. Say minus $500 per acre equals, Holy shit. 258 trillion, 500 billion, 0.1 million, 100,000 high-grade low sulfur coal. At say $10 per nothing equals 11 billion dollars oil, gas, and timber reserves not recognized, which at the fine newt equates to $194,452,900,000. By June 18, 1986, liabilities outstanding inclusive of notes CS at 12 to 13 billion was approximately $14,375,000,000, which both equivalent, well added up in addition, is $180,077,900,000. It's all there. Okay? What the fuck are we doing with homeless, poor, and broke, fake-ass rich motherfuckers? Walking around like there's something. On this basis, I made representations to parties before June 18th, 1986, that the International Equity Trust controlled assets in excess of $152 billion. It did, and it still does. I'm going to stop that right there, y'all. That's just right here, y'all. There's 300 million Americans. And y'all believe in this government all the time, but they can take all your shit and give it to these people. And no hate against them. Because what they did down there and everywhere else is fucked up. But y'all not paying attention, are you? Let me put this piece of shit back in this thing. I told you they're stupid. I could have been sitting on a mountain enjoying a nice 6-pack of wine watching this shit. But they're too stupid. And I'm not playing when I say that, but you don't have to be as stupid as them. Okay? I really don't. Now here's my favorite read out of all that shit. Heaven Bearers. Janine Helen, I got to meet you, young lady. I want to give you some ideas if you like to rate this goddamn much. I got a lot of shit. I'd be ready to give it to my cousin Jazz, all the shit that I wrote down. But Heaven Bearers, The New Age of Deception by Janine Helen. This is getting good right now. And you remember the time when she was and she's still dealing with it with the snake and you just need to pay attention. It's a good fucking read. For those who were here for the first book, I know y'all, that was the second or third time reading it, something like that, and the videos are there. It's really good. Pretty good, isn't it? It's like one of those ones that how you capitulate to some things. So let's read the last of this, and then tomorrow we'll get into chapter 4. I did take a peek, and y'all know I wasn't going, I want to read this with y'all, but this first couple of paragraphs, and I was like, oh, don't read no more. Read it with them. Just read it with you guys, okay? Anyway, as y'all know, she's back at home, and they done went through the old, she got on the gown, the flower dress, I say, as a country boy, and you like to pull them flower dresses up when you got, a gold straw with some lemonade on at nighttime in the moonlight on the porch when nobody can see you but the raccoons and the skeeters and the owl. Woo. He kicks off his shoes and lies down on the bed, staring up at the ceiling, allowing his mind to drift off. He thinks about Azrael, the one, remember they, right? And where he could be and when he plans to returning. Remember he made the crack in the firmament and it made his escape, okay? And where he could be and when he plans on returning. What will he do this time? He wonders and tries to get rid of the thought. His mind is full of questions and he wonders if he is somehow the traitor. I just don't even feel right, excuse me. Oh, that's better. Oh yeah, it just didn't feel right. I feel like I was about to go to war or some shit. Anyway. His mind is full of questions and he wonders if he is somehow the traitor or could be the one to betray Bonnie. The truth was, after all, unpleasant. Now, I remember Bonnie made a statement based on a dream or something made to her that it would be maybe him to betray her. I don't think that's what it meant, but we'll find out together. Okay? The truth was, after all, unpleasant, but nevertheless, a fact. Malcolm is his son, Azrael's. The thoughts are loud and busy. They race around his mind, crashing into one another, creating loud and uncomfortable bangs as they disintegrate and the broken pieces linger. He clenches his eyes shut and searches his mind for an image of her to distract him from all the unpleasant thoughts. But he doesn't get the chance to find one. He feels her fingers trace over the shirt he is wearing, and he instinctively takes hold of her wrists, squeezing it tight. She fights against his grip and pushes her palm down flat, stroking him gently with it and not letting him force her hand away. Oh boy, put your Germans away, put your Germans away. I don't know where this is going. I didn't read this part, I just jumped ahead. And don't sit up, she commands with a soft whisper, putting him at ease. What I'm about to tell you will probably not make any sense. In fact, I haven't been able to make sense of it either. At least not quite yet. Well, she ain't about to talk with a mouthful. Some things are clear now, but ultimately something bad is coming. Another war, and I will be the cause of it. Oh, that's Bonnie. Unless she bites down on her bottom lip, lost in thought, trying to find better or more appropriate words. It all boils down to duality. Remember I told you I have a memory of my parents fighting and my mother hysterical because she felt I wasn't normal. She was the problem, is what she thought. Malcolm swallows hard, remembering full well, thinking the same thing only a few weeks ago, and lets her continue. I'm not sure what I am, but what I do know is that this is not my first time here. On Earth, I mean. I was here before, as someone else, I think. Well, I'm almost sure that my memory was wiped clean, and then I was sent to my parents in a new body. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? I know. Point is, my soul is the same, and I was sent here to destroy Tartaria. She stares reluctantly at him, then to the wall and back again. You know that dramatical scene that makes a movie like banging, like, ooh, what's going to happen? Is the alien going to pop out of Ripley's shut? No, let me stop. Okay. I don't know why, she concludes, ashamed by her past. Her words startle Malcolm, and he sits up, placing his hands on her cheek and pulling her in closer to him. You did not destroy Tartaria. It was the Heaven Bearers that did that. You liberated them. His eyes scan her face and try to read her expression, but she is expressionless, only revealing the slightest crinkle on her forehead. No, Malcolm, I caused the mud flood, and it wasn't to stop the Heaven Bearers. It was to destroy all living matter on Earth. I was the one to make it all start again. Malcolm lets go of her face, his posture angered by her words. Bonnie, let me finish, she interrupts. The Heaven Bearers were here with permission, and Azrael will return. When he does, we will have a chance to fight and stop him. And if he is alone, the odds of us defeating him are high. If he isn't, well, She doesn't finish her sentence. She doesn't need to. Malcolm understands exactly what she is saying based on her words. But logically, he isn't following her reasoning. I'm still piecing some things together. But Malcolm, I know it in my heart that we won't win the next war or the one after that. Her words are flat, but painful, and her confidence tells him that her predictions will ring true. Well, gosh, dog, y'all. Whew. I almost got myself together and went camping to do a video and do a little live camping, taking my truck, put my tent in the truck, staying in the back of the truck, you know, and doing the fire and have my cooking thing. And I was like, you know what, I might do that next weekend. So y'all hold on, I'll make a decision. It's hot enough. I can do it down at Wild Week by the beach and everything. And I know some people out there. I already know where I want to get a place to camp, and I can go to a place where it's away from all that, not that far from where Michael Jackson had his giraffes and elephants and stuff. I can go over there and do it where nobody really comes. Some people at night, the drunks, and they come around, but if they see me, they'll be like, oh, and they'll jump away. But I'll make the determination, because last summer I was supposed to do that, and I decided not to all this, so much was going on with all this. You know what I'm saying? But hey, man, I hope that was cool. I hope you got a little something out of that. You know, you determine what tomorrow is, and the more you share this information, not what am I reading? This is for you guys. You can research. You can see something in there that fits your narrative. Cool. But as far as who you are and the power that all of you exude, when you start ascertaining your power and really walking into it, the more you realize that everything that's going on is based on them controlling the narrative and you putting focus on what they're saying and you allowing this to continue. Your fears and everything else. Just like when we talk about them trying to take the guns, we know that's impossible. Yet the fear keeps it potential and keeps it actually what's pragmatic. And the fact that you saw what happened in New York with the fake Jews and the Arabs, Palestinian followers, and all these knucklehead little youth who don't know no better out there were fighting the other day or day before yesterday, whatever it was. And it's not the only place when you think about, I'm not telling you to think and making this pragmatic, we have to give it energy, because you really do give energy, all of you. I don't care what you believe you are, who you are. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. The whole world has billions of people feeding this stuff energy and making this stuff possible. And the enemy is very aware of this, those who are in the top echelon of it. You must detract and remove yourself from giving this stuff further energy. You got to trust me on this one. And I know it's complicated and I know it's hard, but please, you gotta hear, just if you don't want to agree with anything I said, really look into it. I'm not telling you to take it, regardless, even if I claim something to be a fact, I would love to see you take it, the information, and do all the research you can. Just like when I was talking about the drawer and the different Indians and the narrative of why light skins shouldn't be telling American history because they're very biased, even when they want to say they're like Jane Elliott students. They are not. Because she is still, I said the message that she used the terms black and white because it's official. And it made perfect good sense to me. I just will not, because I know better. All right? Because I cannot afford to give that energy. All right? And regardless of me being German and Indian, having a little Spanish black line and bloodline and some Chinese that married in my family. And we're talking about a different time when the places didn't exist. This is a reality. You know what I mean? Regardless of what people want to buy into or believe. Some people say, "What's your man?" No, it's not how it works. Just the world that you think you live in is a compulsive lie. And I mean in the deepest way. Okay? But no light skin needs to be, when I say light skin, I mean white folks should be telling the history of this land. Because they don't even know their own real history. Okay? So, appreciate y'all. Oh, baby girl, what's up, mama? Hey, thank you, baby, for that. For books. Yeah, you can put for books on there. Because that's how I have established on Cashapp. I have it for books. That's where it is, away from other things that I have, okay? So I appreciate that. $1, it doesn't matter, whatever y'all want to, until y'all's getting notifications and you do what I express to you to do. Again, for those who aren't here, in case you didn't know, I'll just show you right quick before I get off of here. Because they did this not too long ago, I would say close to a year or something. A lot of people didn't know that when they did the update. I want to show you to make sure, and it doesn't matter because I'm subscribed to a lot of you. Some of you are newly subscribed. I haven't seen, I'm not able to go over here and go to your channel and subscribe. But I'm going to go check right now and we'll see. Excuse me. So what you're going to do on your laptop, computer, especially guys who have iPhones, but even if you have Android or you have a tablet, okay, you go and get notifications. You go in here on your page, right? Down here where your profile is, you tap, mine as you see, the little what you call, I'll tap on that. Go up here to your settings wheel, right? And you tap on the settings wheel, okay? Go all on y'all stuff, you're going to see it's about 4 or 5 down maybe, but on my tablet here, because it's not turned this way, it's right here. You're going to hit notifications. Now, what happened when they did notifications? All the notifications were off, and nobody knows this. Some people may have went and checked it and everything. Oh, not notifications. Hold on, I hit the wrong one. So some people may have already took care of it. So something not right and checked it. Go through this stuff. For some of you really about that, know about it. I was chatting with somebody saying, "What's going on?" They were like, "Oh," and somebody said, "Well, you might want to check this." So that's what I did, and I realized over here you have subscriptions. Well, let me go back so you can see me hit the notifications again. All right, hit the settings wheel. So I'm gonna go down here to notifications right here, notifications. Right, see that? Hit notifications. See what just popped up? See right there? It's off. I turned it off so y'all can see. I'm going to turn it on. Now I'll get all your notifications. I'll subscribe to you, supposedly, and it doesn't take care of views. I'm still screenshotting. I'm like 180 views, and then I turn around and I upload and it says 2 views and like 20, 30 likes, and I'm like, what the fuck? Y'all hit the like. I mean, I can dig it. If you don't really like it, you don't agree with it, cool. Or hit the thumbs down. I appreciate it. I really do. I don't have no feelings or emotions that bind me to it. But it's because I want to get away from the Cashapp. I really want to be able to say, look what you guys were able to afford me by watching. I got these books. And especially when I get down to where I'm going to be at, if we're not destroyed in the next year, 2 or 3 years or whatever, and we're able to get some people to realize something, to come over to the land and work the land and do what needs to be done, regardless of what outcome. At least you know that you have put your back, you put your heart, your soul, your light, your energy, and you've allowed yourself to step off into an uncomfortable zone and become something other than what you was. Most people have a hard time walking away from this fictional world they live in. Me, I can right now, I don't have to have an open house. Everything in here, all my ball caps, the shoes, not my guns. I can get up right now and jump in my truck with my cat and cat food, some bottles of water, and I can leave right now and never fucking return. Easy. I've done it twice before. I have no problem. It's not because it's practice. I've always been that way. My family, biological family here, and a number of people would be like, no, he'll leave, he'll get up, and it's not emotions or feelings. He'll look at everybody and be like, well, it's done. And he'll tell you, and he will leave. He won't explain shit. And every time they be like, how did he get all that shit again? You don't have to be resilient and resourceful to things that are nothing. When you start realizing they're nothing, that you're everything, and you'll see things in a total different way. You'll be more aware consciously, and the things that fear will realize that they fear themselves. And what I'll say on my behalf, for good measures. All right. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. It's nothing but love, harmony, frequency, and basic understanding. For those who don't know, women are the power, men are the strength that protects it. So that way the women can keep providing the power the strength needs to survive. Otherwise, if that wasn't the case, they wouldn't be doing the dumb shit they're doing. I don't want to stop nothing. I want to see it all unfold. But I know one thing, it will be some fucking balance. Appreciate you guys. What was that? Much in Illinois. Appreciate it. I am baby girl Slaughter. I got my boo-boo up in there. What's up, baby? Anyway, I'll see you guys later. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to enjoy my watermelon. I'll be heading upstairs early. I was supposed to go to the range today. I ain't got no brothers yet. I didn't want to shoot with them. So until my brothers come up for one last shoot, that's what, you know what I mean? There's different kinds. I got different ones, but this is one of my favorite. And hopefully you don't find out this thing is full of arsenic and lead. I'm not worried about it, but you know. God damn. I know I called them and told them, man, this shit is, man, I want to get some stock in this motherfucker, man. About $5,000 I'll put in right with them. I want to see the turnover quick because the shit's out there. I told him I'll even blend it for him. Shit, that shit is good. Anyway, I appreciate you. Number love. Like I said, our women of the world are the power. And the men are supposed to protect that power, not covet it, which is not a bad thing, but not in the way we see it. And everything that you see, how it's laid out, is beyond wrong. I'll see y'all a little later because I want to read something else to y'all later on.